Massive thank you to Daniel, Thomason, Jake, Ivan and Stephen subscribing to the channel. If you want to make sure you get featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 7 of season 2 of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Yes, today we're here for the Austrian Grand Prix. Of course, a track that I've really grown to love since its return to Formula 1 way back now in 2014. It's kind of weird the fact that this track is almost, just a... it doesn't feel like a newer track anymore. It very much feels, obviously because it was on the Formula 1 calendar for so many years in the past as well. But as we head into this Grand Prix weekend though, like we touched upon last time out, of course, upgrades still going well at the moment. I don't think, we haven't got any more upgrades in progress at this stage of the year, so Ferrari have just about got the better of us once more. But we haven't really got many more upgrades we can do at this stage of the year there. You can see we've barely got sort of 2 or 3 more upgrades in each department before we desperately need some more cash to try and, upgrade the facilities a bit more so we can try and get a few more upgrades. So we're going to go with the fuel tank positioning. That should be ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix just before the summer break there, and that is a big jump up on the chassis side of things here. No other upgrades, though, currently in the works. But heading into this weekend, of course, if you guys remember last season's race here, didn't have the best of form, unfortunately. Might have made a bit of an oopsie before we even properly got into the race itself there, so I had some reliability issues. So before we even dive into this weekend, going to have to try and put some new components on the car there. So that's going to be a new turbo and a new MGU-K. Fingers crossed that should keep us in fairly... or the MGU-H probably needs to go in as well there, and I'll be honest, the energy store isn't too far away. Durability, still a bit of an issue here in Season 2, but let's dive in anyway to the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. So this weekend we're going to dive straight into qualifying actually. Let me know down in the comments below whether you prefer leaving out free practice or whether you still like the little bit that is chucked into these videos. I'm more than happy to include it if it's something you guys still want to see in the future. But yeah, qualifying though for the Austrian Grand Prix, normally quite a happy hunting ground for the AI just for the nature of how OP they are through high-speed corners. Sector 2 and Sector 3 is kind of ridiculous some of the times they can put in there. But fingers crossed, Q2, as always, should now really be a regular occurrence here, as Tsunoda getting a little bit in the way at the top of the hill. Hopefully the young Japanese driver is going to give us a bit of slipstream on the exit there, a bit of a wobble around. As Tsunoda sort of guesses about where he should be. Not great positioning from the Mercedes, but he did give us a handy little draft down at the hill. But yeah, we should, like I said, make it out Q1 nice and tidily. Their top guy's already down towards the 1 minute lap times here. Certainly going to see some 59-second laps later on in the game cycle, even I should say, from the AI. Their catastrophic understeer though, out through Sector 2, and surely, it's Sainz, there we go, down into the 1 minute. Heading in through the final couple of corners though. Hasn't been the best first lap in the world. Certainly left a little bit of time on the table there. It's out the final corner. It's going to be a 1:02.7. That's not great. It's Tsunoda already trying to look past us. Back down towards turn 1. I'm so confident in our ability to find a lot more time on that first lap there. They're actually going to go back out on the same set of tyres for our second run here. We definitely need a lot more time there. You can see sat down in P19 at this early stage of Q1. Certainly, don't want to get back into a habit of finishing and failing to make it into Q2 once again. We certainly have got the car quick enough now. Throwing away more and more time as the lap goes on there. Don't think these tyres have got much grip left in them there. It's just trying to hang on through the final couple of corners of the lap there, using all the curbing on the exit. We don't even improve. So a 1:02.8 there still leaves us 0.6 off Valtteri Bottas in P18. We're going to need a mighty run later on in the session. No idea where this lack of confidence has come from. Right, no messing around then. Let's try and get a much better lap hooked up here on this second set of tyres. We've got a completely clear track in front of us as well. So fingers crossed we can do a whole lot better. Struggle a little bit as we brake nice and late in through turn 1 there, using up all the curbing on the exit as we head up the hill. First couple of corners weren't too bad on our first run. Of course, we've got that little bit of help from Tsunoda as well. Stamp on the anchors at the 100 board. Try and get as close to that inside curb as possible. They're purple actually through Sector 1. Goes to show how quick we are through that first sector. For the rest of the lap, we seem to be throwing away a lot of time though. Down the hill, get all over the entrance curb of turn 4. Again, just using all the exit curve as well, but still throwing away time. Just can't seem to get one lap completely hooked up here. Don't know whether I'm overdriving the car or what. As we plummet down the hill. See, we're just absolutely trying to drag everything out of it at the moment there. Now we're a couple of tenths up as we head down in towards Sector 3. And I think the AI, yeah, just very, very strong around this track and way wide through the final couple of corners there. That was a little bit ragged. Through the final turn, down towards the line. It's going to be 4 tenths. It's nowhere near good enough, though. We're still sat a tenth slower than Giovinazzi. Right, well, I didn't think we'd have to use all 3 sets of tyres in Q1 here, but Schwartzman's only a couple of tenths quicker than me so far. So it's clearly not just an issue with us. I think it is just a general lack of pace from the car this weekend. Fingers crossed we can get a little bit more out of it in the race, but we'll try and get this one last lap hooked up. See if we can find just a little bit more here as we head back up the hill, fractionally down on our previous run. I'll leave it in second at the top of the hill there, just about get the front end rotated through. Good traction on the exit there as well, means we're still pretty much even. We just can't afford to make any mistakes around the rest of the lap there. Not going to be so aggressive over the outside curving. Are going to be aggressive on the inside curve, and then really try and get the car on the power on the exit. A tenth up now as we head in towards the end of Sector 2. Just a little bit of understeer there as we're going to be brave over the curbs there. Actually dip the wheels in the gravel. Again, just really, really ragged as we're trying to get everything out of the car, and we're only half a tenth up. This has been a disaster of a qualifying session for us. Need to try and get the final couple of corners hooked up, and that is not it. What is wrong with us so far this weekend then? Qualifying has been a disaster for the Austrian Grand Prix. We just never saw to be able to get it hooked up. Schwartzman on his second lap as well there found near enough a second's worth of pace, so he ended up P12 at the end of Q2 there, but out in P19 for the Austrian Grand Prix. It wasn't even like we just missed out either. They're half a second off the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi at the end of the session there. Just had no pace. You saw we were trying to get everything out of the car, but just nothing was working for us early on this weekend. We can only hope that the race pace is a whole lot better there. I think, yeah, like I said, we're still mixing it around with the AI difficulty at the moment. Once again this weekend I'm running 107 like we did at Paul Ricard. But Austria, yeah, clearly a much stronger track for the AI. Let's dive in then here to the Austrian Grand Prix, and fingers crossed we can find something extra.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Lando Norris and Perez, Sainz, Tsunoda, Gasly and George Russell, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Robert Schwartzman and Giovinazzi, Lundgaard, Valtteri Bottas and Mr. Monaco, Latifi, Mazepin, Mick Schumacher and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Right, here we are then, on the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix, and if qualifying's anything to go by, not feeling too confident for this one here today, but we have got a quick race car underneath us. We do know that, we are aware of that here on F1 at 2021, so fingers crossed, you know, we can try and pull through today and score some good points. Of course, when we didn't make it out of Q1 in the first 2 Grand Prix of the year, we still scored points there, so fingers crossed here we can maintain some consistency. The car performance seems to be up and down like a yo-yo so far this year, but we'll wait and see what we can do here today. Then ready on the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix, 36 laps ahead of us, waiting on those 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. Has actually responded quite well. So we head down towards turn 1 then. Latifi on our outside. Just want to be careful there, just getting boxed in behind Latifi and Christian Lundgaard. Nowhere to go out of turn 1 there as Latifi's had a bit of a blinder of a start. Up a couple of spots there as we head up the hill. We're going to try and get a bit of a run on the pair of them here in towards turn 3. Very, very brave. That was slightly just behind Guan Yu Zhou. Yellow flags out. Guessing that's just some Constantina and up. So we try and put a bit more heat in the rears on the exit there. So up 1 spot then off the start of this Grand Prix. Straight up into 17th place. There's still a lot of battles side by side heading down the hill there. I think our teammate Schwartzman's made some progress up into the points. I think he's running in 10th at the moment as Hamilton. If you have a look at that mini-map, basically doing a metaphor of what he's done so far this season. Dominating out front whilst everyone scraps behind him here. We have survived the start though, like I said, up the 1 place. And why are we getting so much understeer through there still? I've even up the front wing. We're running 6-8 wings at Austria, and it's still struggling. Guan Yu Zhou really early on the brakes at the top of the hill there, and we do muscle him out a little bit. There's another completed move home. The 16th there is Alonso, not far up the road.
Great pass.
Team are happy with it, so I guess we will be as well there. Alonso just in front on the mediums. Starting to make some progress on Valtteri Bottas here in this race, who really has been getting everything out of the Williams so far this year. Voted, I think, as the People's Champion of last season after all the controversial endings in the last couple of Grand Prix there. I was still a bit gutted with a couple of those, I'll be honest with you guys. Wasn't the way I wanted to end our first season here on F1 at 2021, but Bottas, yeah, certainly been dragging everything out of that Williams so far in Season 2. They've been comfortably quicker than Latifi, like I think we all expected him to be. The Finn has definitely still got some pace in a Formula 1 car. That being said, with a bit of luck, the Finn in that Williams is going to have slightly less raw pace than I do in this 2-2 Motorsport car. They're almost forgotten the name of our own team. Let's look at that. Bottas really, really brave on the brakes at the top of the hill there. Hopefully we'll get running him on the exit. A little bit of wheel spin off the corner. But Bottas put himself towards the grass there. So desperate to hold the inside line down the hill. Clean down around the outside. But again, Bottas just not backing out of this. He doesn't want to give up on this position just yet here. We'll have a look again using a little more battery. Side by side in towards turn 5. Who's going to come out on this one there? We've got to give him the racing room. This is a brilliant little battle with the Williams here. Still side by side as we head towards the bottom of the hill. There is no Bottas. I don't know if there was a little bit of contact there, but he has gone round. Riding on board there with Bottas, you can see we're up the inside of him as we head down the hill there. Pretty much the whole car in front there as he tries to hang it on around the outside. No, Bottas, there wasn't any contact. He just loops it on the exit of the corner there, and yeah, that's ruined quite a good little battle. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Is that another Ferrari power unit gone up? No. It would appear not. Leclerc's binned it. What's happened there? So, running on board then with Charles Leclerc, he's just looped it round on throttle on the exit of turn 1 there. The AI love their donuts so far in F1 2021 at Capure, but it's given Schwartzman another place, and we might get one as well. And as we head up the hill here, are we going to be able to get a run on Charles Leclerc? We'll have a look up the inside. Oh, we'll accidentally have a look up the inside of Alonso as well. I apologise to Fernando. I meant nothing to get at the inside of him there, but it's accidentally a double overtake. I think he hasn't got any damage though, so yeah, not the finest. Right, can we now get a run on Giovinazzi here? Finally feel like we're starting to get into a groove with this car as we head on to lap 9. Up the inside, we'll have a look. Get it slowed down nice and tidy there. Luckily, Giovinazzi spots me at the last moment. We will get the power down on the exit, and we will now inherit P12 of this race. It seems like our teammates battling George Russell up the road. Definitely feel like, yeah, Aston Martin are a good similar car in terms of pace to us at the moment. Coming into the pits at the end of lap 10. Felt like a bit of an early call from the team. That's what the team are going with here. We head down through the final couple of corners. Oh, nudged the Armco on the way in. That was a bit ragged on the way into the pit lane, but we do hold on to it somehow. Oh, only just in that instance there. But we will get ahead of George Russell, albeit just for a brief period here. Pierre Gasly doing massively well in that AlphaTauri. As always, seems to be able to drag everything out of that thing. 1.9 seconds though is going to bring us a bit closer to George. As we head back out in the pit lane.
One stop left.
Bottas just alongside us as we head out of the pit lane here. Are we going to be racing the Williams up the hill? No, we're not. Bottas clearly doesn't want anything to do with that one. Still, of course, yet to pit in this race, but we need to try and hang with George. Load more cars peeling into the pit lane one lap later on. Seems weird, actually, that we're following a normal race strategy so far. Quite a few races this year we've tried to go for something a bit weird and wonderful, but I don't think there's really anything quicker we can do here at Austria. Running a little bit wide there, kicking up a bit of dirt out of the final corner, but we're actually going to get the undercut on our teammate Schwartzman here, or if we don't, it's going to be very, very close. George Russell, though, has turned on the afterburners on that overcut there, or undercut even, sorry, I should say, and pulled out a second over me. Load more into the pits at the end of lap 12 here, already at 1/3 distance. I say loads more, 2. Latifi and I think it was Mick Schumacher. But they have held up George Russell a bit for us there as we get very, very ragged out of turn 1. Schwartzman, though, applying the pressure. Not sure but it's going to be long that we can defend from him. Might have to play a bit of a team game here. Yeah, not sure we're going to be able to do much to defend from our teammate in this Grand Prix, so if he goes for it, we're just going to let him by here. Not losing too much to George Russell in front now. It seems like he just had that one lap of mega pace over us. But yeah, Schwartzman, I think he might be able to drag us along a bit later on here, so we will just not defend down the hill. Up the inside goes our teammate Schwartzman. It seems weird that he's on pace with us this weekend, but again, AI very, very strong here. We'll see if we can get him to drag us up. I was expecting our teammate Schwartzman to drag us up to Russell there, but I wasn't expecting it inside one lap there. Look at that, Schwartzman to the inside of George Russell as we head down the hill there, and we're going to get up the inside as well of the Aston Martin. There's been contact.
On track, resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Well, there is a safety car. What's happened there? Riding on board then with Lewis Hamilton. Let's just wait and see what's happened. Oh, Stroll's come into pit, and Hamilton's completely hit him there, and look at that, Stroll's hit the wall. So riding on board with Stroll there, just Hamilton straight into the back of him there. The Aston Martin loses his front wheel. And then does anyone else hit him on the way in? I think Ferrari gets stuck behind him there as well. This is carnage. So yeah, Charles Leclerc then, he's going to plan on diving into the pits at the end of this lap as well there. Slows it down there. Oh, the Red Bull almost takes him out. And Charles Leclerc seemingly not understanding you can go around the outside of someone there. But a safety car here in this Grand Prix, that has been chaos. So Stroll out, Hamilton out, Leclerc with a 5-second penalty for not working out how to get around Stroll. We're going to be coming to the points here, as all these guys are going to lose out a load of time getting caught out in all the commotion. But look at that, both cars up into the points for the second time running. Now with the safety car as well is going to bunch up the entire field. This is great for us. So even more cars peeling into the pit lane then at the end of lap, lap 16 here. I can't even keep track of what lap it is anymore. Can we try and get the jump on the McLaren there as Ricciardo's got a 5-second pen?
Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
They're going hards though to the end of this race, so they're surely going to really struggle later on. So safety car in then at the end of lap 18 here as we cross over the halfway stage of this race. It's a Red Bull 1-2 though. At the Red Bull ring, Yuki Tsunoda is going to have to fly the flag for Mercedes here, but Christian Lundgaard, probably the biggest surprise so far, set up in P4 of this Grand Prix. If Lundgaard could somehow hold on to that, that'd be incredible. I'm sure he'd just love to get some points here in this race. But about to go green then once more here from Styrian Mountains. Whoa, big kick of wheel spin as we head through the final corner. That'll build up some temps back in these medium tyres, and not too bad a restart. There as we hang on to the back of our teammate Schwartzman back in towards turn 1. Are we going to see some chaos though as everyone tries to get a run on the Alfa Romeo up the hill, however? Don't think he's going to be particularly quick as Christian Lundgaard there. As you can see the top 3 romping away. Cars queuing up behind him. But no one making the move on Lundgaard just yet. As we almost run to the back of our teammate there. A few sparks being kicked up.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
This might work out really well for Lundgaard because he's got Gasly behind him who isn't in a much quicker Alpha Tauri. Gasly might be rapid in it. The car's raw pace isn't brilliant. So look at that, everyone weaving this way and that is all Lundgaard. Just, I'm guessing he's pitting now. That's not great driving from the young Danish driver there. Just stopping on the racing line as Alonso really struggling. I'm guessing he got held up behind him. It's giving us a bit of a breakaway though. The 2-2-1-2 Motorsport cars running well.
You'll be on the softs. Drop your speed.
Another safety car? What's happened?
Slow your pace.
Oh, this does not look good. Heading down into sector 3. That Alpine peeling into the pit lane. Oh, 3 wide. And nowhere for, I'm not too sure. That's Mick Schumacher there, yeah. Let's have a look at that. So riding on board then with Mick Schumacher, they see the Alpine peel in and just nowhere for him to go. Takes himself out rather than his teammate, but that's 2 safety cars in 5 laps. That needs fixing, Codies. Heading into the pits on the end of lap 21 here, but unfortunately our teammate Schwartzman has made the same call there, so we're going to get caught out, stuck behind our teammate in the pit box. But rather surprised that a lot of the guys at the top aren't taking this option as well there. It seems like we are one of the only big teams double stacking there as we get held up a little bit behind Yuki Tsunoda, who heads back out of the pit lane. But it's going to be a tantalising wait behind our teammate, hoping the team can get 2 nice quick stops done and dusted. We're going to be right down at the rear of the field, though. Come on, get on with it. We've held up one of the Williams there, Latifi. We need to get nice fresh rubber on. 4 seconds is not perfect. Back down out in P18 of this Grand Prix.
No more scheduled pit stops.
Can't help but feel our race not been completely sacrificed there. And Schwartzman, yeah, is still running way up the order. Fingers crossed now, Schwartzman can at least score some points in this Grand Prix after our race has pretty much been thrown away for him. But safety car about to be coming back in. We've still got quite a few cars towards the front that need to pit. I think it's going to be one of those races where you only really know where you are, with a couple of laps to go, to be honest. Carnage here in the Styrian Mountains, and somehow still only the 2 retirements from this Grand Prix. Of course, Vlad Stroll and Lewis Hamilton heading out of the final couple of corners we go, though. Can we hopefully try and get a good restart on Guan Yu Zhou at the final turn?
Green flag. We're racing again.
Not responding perfectly, but not responding too badly either. Alonso wants to apply some pressure to us, though. So we head back down towards turn 1 there. Ever the opportunist, Fernando Alonso in a Formula 1 car. But can we get a run up the hill there? You see everyone already squabbling for positions. So we head up in towards turn 2. There's Zhou having a look on Latifi. But we'll go late on the brakes there at the inside of the young Chinese driver for the second time today.
Reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
I thought I sorted that out pre-weekend. Had I not done the energy store? If something like this happens a couple of times in the Grand Prix, you think, okay, makes it certainly a bit interesting. But for the 3rd time now, our teammate this time around, Schwartzman, there has walloped the back of someone entering the pit lane. I think someone else at the road as well has done the same. That's the Mercedes of Yuki Tsunoda as well with no front wing. This is just getting a bit ridiculous. Schwartzman having to go defensive in towards turn 1 there as we go right around the outside of Latifi.
Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Yeah, this is getting a bit ridiculous, I'll be honest, on F1 2021. Not too sure who's trying to keep their nose at the inside there. I think we're 3 wide at the top of the hill. And now we've got to try and get round Tsunoda as well, of course, who's got no front wing either. Lundgaard and I might be back up into the points, but yeah, that needs fixing, Codys. You can see just 1 turn later there, Tsunoda really struggling. We're going to get a run on Lundgaard. At the inside we go as all the Red Bull of Sergio Perez gets a bit caught out there. We are going to jump Tsunoda, though, and Lundgaard at the same time. Brings us back up into P11 of this Grand Prix, and there's still quite a lot of guys at the road that need to pit. This one has just been carnage. A couple more people into the pits at the end of that 27 there. That's Ocon.
The car in front is 3.4 seconds.
So now up inside the top 10 once more here, but as we've run as wide through turn 1, Giovinazzi 9th place at the moment on hards. He might be able to get that car to the end in the points there. Latifi just behind as well. On his mediums, I think, looking to go to the end. If something happens to some of the front runners there, Latifi and Giovinazzi could be in for some luck here today. Felt like it only took us about 20 laps in this Grand Prix, but finally seemed to find some pace in the car in the dying stages here of the Austrian Grand Prix. Lead around the outside of Giovinazzi through turn 1 there. No messing around with the Alfa Romeo. Might up into 9th. Oh, yellow flags. That's George Russell, I think.
Caution.
That looks to be an engine failure for George Russell there as he has to pull over. And yeah, that Mercedes power unit gone up in smoke. It's going to bring us up another spot. George Russell out of the Grand Prix there. And unfortunately, Latifi lost the place to Guan Yu Zhou, so it's back down to 11th. 4 laps to go here from Austria, and I honestly thought more of the guys in the top 10 would need to pit again before the end of this race. But the likes of Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari have absolutely nailed the strategy here today. Looks like, yeah, there's going to be, well, all 3 teams there inside the top 7. Only Gasly upsetting the party, but he's hanging on. Well, on to the final lap then of the Austrian Grand Prix, and somehow we've pulled through in this one here today. It does look like it is going to be P8, at the end of this Grand Prix. There is actually towards the front of the field, Gasly now stuck into a battle, I think, with one of the Ferraris there. Not too sure, as actually the other Ferraris jumped the Red Bull into the lead of the Grand Prix with just a couple to go here. So it looks like Ferrari are going to make it 2 wins so far this year. Going to jump back ahead of us on the win count so far this season. But Red Bull have lost the race victory in the dying stages here of this Austrian Grand Prix there through the final corner. Is it Sainz or is it Leclerc? I think it's Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz again though. It turns out wins for Ferrari. They're pulling off a daring move on Max Verstappen, who's going to come through for P2 there. I think it's Ricciardo P3 ahead of Lando. But we come through for P8. More points on the board.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Austrian Grand Prix, and Carlos Sainz now a double race winner for Ferrari there. He has been unstoppable since he joined the team at the start of last season. Win number 2 for Carlos Sainz in his F1 career as well. You love to see it there. He does beat out Max Verstappen, the old king of the Austrian Grand Prix, king of the Red Bull Ring, if you will, but he has been dispatched there with a late race move. How weird, Ferrari getting something back after 2019 there. Ferrari jumps Max Verstappen late on in the Austrian Grand Prix there. It was Lando Norris, though, that came through for P3, so very, very good showing by all the young drivers there. Daniel Ricciardo P4 ahead of Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. Sergio Perez 7th ahead of myself. Guan Yu Zhou in the AlphaTauri there in P9, his Formula 1 best result. And then Alonso rounding out your points finishes there. Ocon just missed out. Giovinazzi fell away towards the end ahead of Lundgaard and Latifi there. I think they all knew how big an opportunity it was this weekend there, but you can see a bit of carnage towards the rear of the field there. Tsunoda, 18th place. Hamilton out. Both Aston Martins as well not making it through to the end of the Grand Prix. It has been a tough weekend for a lot of drivers there. But championship-wise, we unfortunately get dispatched back down to 6th place there, losing out ground to Verstappen, Sainz and Charles Leclerc there. Charles Leclerc and Sainz tied on 69 points apiece. Nice. Lando Norris moves up into 7th, though, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Gasly and Perez jump Russell and Alonso, as well. You see Schwartzman still in P14 there. Gio gets the jump on Valtteri Bottas on countback and constructors-wise. The only move was AlphaTauri get the jump on Alpine, as well as, Mercedes lost a lot of ground this weekend as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back tomorrow, ready for round 8 of the year. We head to... I'm trying to remember. It's not Silverstone just yet. I feel like we got one race before that, and I completely forgot where it is. Maybe it is Silverstone. We'll be back wherever we're racing next.
None of these videos would be possible without the support of our channel members. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David Bennett, Ben Meekins and Aiden C97 for becoming channel members. If you want to be featured in these little clips, click the join button down below.